I think podcasting has come from a niche portion of the media plan to a core part of the buy over the last decade. In 2015, advertising revenue for podcasting was about 106 million. Last year in 2025, it reached 2.9 billion. So that's a 30-time increase over the last decade. And it's not slowing down. The podcast year over year is growing about 17.6%. And those are according to the PwC-IAB Internet Advertising Revenue Report. And a decade of pure growth shows that it's moved from niche to core. I think one of the major reasons for that is that buyers have changed their mindset from trying to align their clients' money with particular hosts and genres to more of a traditional digital media metric. So, reach, addressability, top of the full funnel outcomes.
So, Jason, buyers walking into the IAB Podcast Upfront on September 16th, I believe,
Yep.
will see a first look at presentation from top podcast publishers. For marketers who have historically allocated podcast budgets almost as an afterthought, what should they be prepared to act on this year rather than just observe?
I think they need to be able to act upon three things. First, they should prepare to have conversations across both audio and video, since that's where podcasting is moving. Second, they should press publishers for the data that their marketers are looking for. Consistent show titles, clear data, platform names where their buys are running, and accurate location of their podcasts. And I don't mean where the people are consuming their podcasts, but where the ads are running in the podcasts. And finally, I think the most important thing is that the buyers are planning to invest more money in podcasting because it is that core media type. And the use cases have shown that it's effective in test and learn studies. So I think buyers should be moving more money into podcasting.
Jason wanted to touch on the IAB PwC Internet Advertising Revenue Report. I believe it reports that roughly 7 in 10 podcast creators now produce a video version of their show. And video has become the leading way people actually consume podcasts, not just audio anymore, though audio, I believe, is still powerful. How is that shift changing the way IAB thinks about standardizing measurement and planning across audio and video podcast formats?
Yeah, 71% of creators are creating video podcasts. So I think that really forces the conversation from audio to audio and video. IAB is working on the structures and the definitions to help measurement bridge the gap between the two, because there are different standards for audio and for video. So we want to make sure that the impressions aren't double counted or not counted at all.
Jason, at what point does it stop making sense to plan and measure a quote-unquote podcast as a single audio line item? And what does the IAB think buyers should be doing differently right now?
It appears we're at that point right now, that podcasts should be a portion of the core media buy. Audiences are being planned against outcomes and audiences and not against hosts and genres like they were in the past. The measurement has started to catch up. But there's still a gap, and that gap is addressed in the Podcast Continue to Evolve paper that we will be delivering during the 2026 Podcast Upfront. And that real gap is that because of audio and video and the toggling between the two, there's really a gap in measurement. And we are proposing to close that gap through disclosures. And those disclosures are laid out in that white paper.
Jason, I want to stay with the lines between audio and video. IAB's new white paper on audio makes the case that podcast and digital audio already produce the structured impression and household level data needed for modern measurement systems. But the industry hasn't been using it that way, I believe. Why has that integration gap persisted? And what needs to change in planning and measurement workflows for audio to get the credit as full funnel performance capable channel that it is?
Yeah, I think that the audio stack has lagged other media types such as social, display, CTV, because they didn't adopt pixel-based attribution, dynamic ad insertion, identity spines as quickly as those other media types. But publishers right now have the data at both the household IP level and the impression level to meet marketers' demands for MMM and MTA models. So the case studies that are presented in the IAB Power of Audio Data paper really lay out the use cases that show that podcasting is effective from the top of the funnel with increases in awareness all the way down to the bottom of the funnel and increases in purchase intent.